Welcome into Dynasty Mode, the unofficial EA Sports college football video game podcast. My name is Arky Shea. Got a lot to talk about on this podcast here today. I want to talk about the latest happening with the video game and something someone just recently said regarding the video game and whether or not they want to be a part of it. Mr. Caleb Williams, I'm looking at you. Also, show announcement, life announcement coming up right after that. But let's get straight into it. Caleb Williams gave an interview to Yahoo, and his britches were all aflutter when it comes to the college football video game. He was asked straight up, want to be in the game, huh? You're going to be a pretty cool name to be a part of the game. Do you want to be a part of the game? Would you consent to your name, image, and likeness being a part of the new college football game? And he said he was excited about the game, but he doesn't quite know if he would want to be in the part of the video game because, well, that whole $500 number that's been leaked about, that's been bandied about, and technically EA and EA Sports have not put out as an official number for what could be out there. So Caleb Williams wants to hem and haw a little bit. Let me read for you a quote real quick from Yahoo. He says, as far as the fairness with that $500 amount, you're going to love this. It's like if you go to school and you're a straight A student, and there's another kid whose strong suit isn't school, and he gets B's or B minuses. How fair would it be if you get the same grade as him? That never works in school, and it doesn't make sense. That's how I look at that game with the situation with the $500, end quote. Wow, Caleb, it doesn't work like that, partner. It doesn't work that way. It feels really neat to sort of say it, especially since you're technically in a school, right? So you're still talking about academics. You're looking cool over there, USC. But that's not how this works. It's a very false equivalency at any stretch of the imagination. It's not about what you've earned and what you haven't earned based on, I don't know, studying the same suit, the same classes. Maybe being chemistry wasn't your thing, but it was someone else's. So should you get the same grade? No. But that's not your name. That's not your image. That's not your likeness. You also can work better and longer and harder to try to get better at being, what you call a student. You could do multiple things. Get tutors, stay up late, get a little bit of Adderall in your system. Maybe do some studying that way. That's just not how this works, though, in the financial world, because that's not what this potential amount of money, the alleged $500, is about, is it? No, you don't get the same grade as another classmate just for participating in the class. That's not how this works. You actually have to do things to get that money / grade. You have to study, turn in your assignments, quizzes, finals, midterms, etc. Show up to classes. That's different than what is essentially this handout for participating in the game. And not even participating, literally doing nothing with the video game. All you have to do, Caleb Williams and others, you just have to accept the check. Yeah, see, this isn't one of those situations where you have to spend all of your time and money to travel to go make sure everything looks good and maybe get in one of those motion sensor suits and run around with the ball. That's not this. This is literally letting Electronic Arts put your information in the video game for at what is probably the max 5 years. Let's just be super generous. You get a 5th-year senior. We want the incoming freshman to be a part. Let's do that. So you get $500 for that. I don't know this to be the case, but I'm assuming it would be per year that they would allow you to do that. So let's say up to $2,500 for doing nothing. Just absolutely nothing. Yeah. That's the difference. You're letting other people do the work and use your name, image, and likeness to make the game palpable for those who want to play it. Sure, they're selling it based on your name, image, and likeness to a degree. But honest to God, we're not buying the game because of Caleb Williams. I'm not unearthing new territory when I tell you we all done with Caleb Williams very early on in the process. Caleb Williams won't be in college football next year. So you know where he won't be? In the video game next year. He'll be one of the cool draft players you can have for Madden, but not for college football. And maybe, just maybe, if Electronic Arts wants to say who was the most recent really good player, maybe you put Caleb Williams on the cover. And in that case, there are incentives. You get more money to be a cover athlete, huh? Why wouldn't you? You do some promotional opportunities with the company, but not every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the game gets a big boatload of cash for doing nothing. And, Caleb Williams, you're speaking from a high pulpit there, and I do appreciate that to agree because not everyone's voice is heard like yours. The second string running back at Georgia Tech doesn't get as much discussion in this as does the potential Heisman Trophy winner, back to back, maybe, would get in this discussion. So I do appreciate you wanting to look out for the rights of players when it comes to that NIL, but it's not in this case. Because let me remind you of a couple of things. One, you don't sell the game. The colleges do. I'm going to repeat that because it's fairly important. Caleb Williams doesn't sell the college football video game. Georgia Tech does. USC does. Penn State does. The teams sell it. The stadiums sell it. The conferences sell it. It's just another football game if you don't have those elements to it. It's another knockoff of a Doug Flutie or whoever wants to put their name on something that's trying to be synthesized into the ether because we were deprived of a college football video game unless you have those assets. If you don't have Neyland Stadium, you don't have the college football video game. Does it matter if I have Hendon Hooker or if it, yeah, maybe for half a second? But then as everyone knows who's ever played this video game, you're out really, really quickly. And there are names that have never been brought up and dreamt up that are going to be put in the video game and created thanks to artificial intelligence. And it always has. Well, not always. Ever since you've been able to do this Dynasty mode. See, Electronic Arts is putting you in the game, Caleb Williams and others listening, because EA Sports has always wanted to put you in the game. They've always thought that it would be a fair thing to put you in the game. There are college football coaches coming out now more recently. I think I just saw one on Monday from Jim Harbaugh, who's always been on this train, by the way, that I could tell. They want to do revenue sharing with the players. It's just why do the universities and the athletic departments get the money? Coaches get so much money, but why don't we share with the athletes? That's a fair stance to take. Is that your stance to take, Caleb Williams? That's a fine stance to take. But not with the college football video game. See, you have to realize not only what you're bargaining for, but what you're bargaining against. Let me read you this next quote from his. He says that basically $500, that number that we talk about, is either good or bad, depending on who you are. Some may deserve it, some may not. Here's the quote. It depends on who you are and your situation, and if you earned it, he continued. There are certain people that have been in college for many years and have been playing for many years. And there's other guys who have been in college for many years and haven't played and haven't been doing this and that. It depends on your situation, who you are, and what you actually earned. I'm not talking about money earned, talking about all the hard work you put in. End quote. Now, Caleb and others that may think this, you're basically advocating for a pay scale of seniority. And then I guess sweat equity is what you would call it. Who has sweated the most? Maybe who has gotten hurt the most? Because, I mean, that's a big deal, right? I mean, have you really played college football and earned it if you haven't been injured? A lot, right? Maybe freshmen don't deserve as much as seniors. I could get on board with a discussion about that. Maybe maybe if you transfer, you don't deserve as much money as those who stay in their current institution that they committed to at the very onset of their career. It's a discussion worth listening to. But how do you want to measure this? Because also, Caleb, to be eligible to be able to be in this video game, you would have had to have been eligible to play on the team, which means you would have had to maintain a certain GPA, which means you would have had to study, go to classes, get certain grades. Then does your GPA factor into this? Because you've worked harder, clearly, right? I mean, if you're out there making a B minus, Caleb, why should you make as much as someone who's making a 4.0? Econ majors, huh? Maybe got some forestry management majors out there making 4.0 GPAs. I think they may deserve a little bit more than your 3.1s and 2s. Just throwing it out there. It's an odd argument to make in terms of the college football video game. It's not the right one by any stretch of the imagination. The college football video game does not need you. It wants you. We want you to be a part. We want you to want to be a part. I love to unlock Johnny Manziel. I love to unlock Mr. Caleb Williams. I love to be able to have the next crop of players that are going to be really, really good. I'd love to have y'all a part of the video game for the couple of years or so that you're going to be a part of college football. But the opportunity for that exists because EA Sports wants to have you be a part of this. From the very beginning, it's the reason why EA Sports is not partnered with the NCAA right now. That's why this game is going to be called College Football 2025 and not NCAA Football 2025. Hey, listen, look over here. Look, NCAA Football 2012, huh? Yeah, that's what it used to be called. It's college football going forward. The reason that's happening is because EA offered to find a way to get money to the athletes. And the NCAA essentially said, no, don't worry about it. We'll get them to sign a paperwork. A little sliver sheet of paper that says you can't sue for this. This now belongs to Electronic Arts in this capacity. What do you want to do? Caleb, that's just what I ask you. What in this case do you want to do? Do you want to be a part of the video game and get the $500 or $750 or $5,000 if you're a cover athlete? I don't know what the numbers are going to be. What do you want to do? Because if I'm sitting here listening to Caleb Williams, the Heisman Trophy winner who could go back to back, who has already started off his campaign with a flurry of a bunch of points against San Jose State, who might have himself another great shot to do it again, but also put himself as the number one draft pick and to make millions upon millions. Are you going to sit here and say that quibbling over 3, potentially low 4 figures is worth it to you? Because you're not doing it for everyone else. You've already said you're not interested in the equity of it. If it was everyone needs to have the same amount and it just needs to be more, argument listening to. But I've just added your argument. Your argument's based on who's earned it. I don't even know how you try to figure that out based on your system. I don't even know what you want. We could have that discussion about freshmen getting less than seniors. I'll listen to it. But I can't have it based on who's earned it, because then who gets to choose earned? That's ridiculous, Caleb. Be a part of the video game or don't. It will not bother me. It will not. I can, honest to God, promise you, there is 0 people within the sound of my voice that are listening to this, who have ever talked to me, who I've ever seen online, that will not buy this video game if Caleb Williams isn't in it. There are people that will consider not buying it if chunks of teams aren't in it, as if it's not a complete football package, as if some universities aren't able to come to some type of agreement with NIL with the players, like Northwestern and Notre Dame, etc. Yeah, That's something worth talking about. That's the one argument that comes for not possibly buying the game. But for having individual players, no sir. Nuh-uh. Not an argument. Not a discussion. Not even a point to bring up to me. Try that on somebody else. Try it on somebody else, Caleb. All right. Now, I need to make a couple of show announcements real quick about this podcast. This podcast is not going away. No, we've had a little bit of a hiatus, but that hiatus was for good reason. I don't want to get into the good reason. Let's just say it had to happen. But we're back. It's just going to be some changes going forward. All right. Has nothing to do, by the way, with Dimitri. Dimitri and I, we still love each other. We're still going to be doing a podcast together. You should be, by the way, go be checking out his bubble baths over on YouTube and on Twitter. He loves getting in the bubble bath and talking about college football. If you haven't yet, add Dimitri Ravanas. Okay, here's what you need to know about the future of this here program. You're going to see a lot of changes in the types of content that we bring out. It's all college football video game related, but you're going to start seeing some more streaming coming out, game streaming, season streaming. You're going to start seeing some more content come out still about the college video game history too, so that ethos has not been breached in regards to the video game. But you're going to see it oftentimes with me and Dimitri, oftentimes with just me, like you have for the last few podcasts, or with just Dimitri, or combinations of all three. So you're going to see all kinds of interesting stuff to keep this podcast going forward because we love doing it. We genuinely love doing it. But there's a big reason why we're doing some of the adjustment going forward. I'm going to tell you about that in just a second. But first, I wanted to also tell you that there have been people who have been trying to contact me on Twitter and sliding in my DMs and all that good stuff. And I try to get back to you whenever I can, but I should be forthright with you. I have deleted Twitter off of my phone. Twitter is no longer fun for me. I do not enjoy getting on Twitter like I used to. The last few months, especially maybe 4, 5, 6 months, have been especially painful. And it is not that anyone's in making fun of me or making me feel bad. It's just Twitter's not the place that I fell in love with it being. Right? We've fallen out of love. But it's not me, it's you, Twitter. You've changed. I don't like you anymore. Sorry. So I still, every now and then, couple of times a month, I should say, not a week, I still bring it up on my old computer here, and I see if there's anything I'm missing message-wise. And that's just about it. I just retweeted or tweeted something from my friend Cole Kublik, was talking about weddings, right? But I think that's one of the first times I tweeted in like a month. I just don't like it. And essentially, as of posting of this video, I'm going to be off Twitter for at least the football season. So I'm not even going to bring it up on my browser anymore. It's not the communal experience I wanted it to be. And it used to be. It frankly really used to be that. Now, a lot of you still like it. That's completely cool with me. I'm not judging. It's just for me, it's misery. It's misery, and I don't need misery things in my life. Because I have cool things happening in my life that we're going to talk about. But before I tell you that's the one thing I'm trying to get to, is I do want to say that there will be ways that you can still connect with me if you want to. You can connect to this podcast by just commenting on any YouTube video. I'll see them and I can respond to those. I don't know if YouTube does messages. I haven't figured that out, but regardless. I am still active on TikTok. TikTok is something you can find me on. I enjoy TikTok a lot more than I do Twitter. So I am there. Same name, Ed Archie Shea. ARKYSHEA. So that's one of only 2 social medias I basically do. I do that, and I hesitate only briefly to tell you this, but I don't think I'm nearly as cool as I used to be. I'm on Facebook. You can find my name, Arky Shea, on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. I'm a lot more responsive to messages there. I use it with my own business and supporting businesses locally that support me, but I also interact with lots of people all the time on Facebook. Just sadly prefer that to Twitter. And there's one other way you can contact me. I'm going to put it on the screen right now. It's my email address. I think this is the only video I'm going to put this up. So if you want to email me, the email address is right there. You can have it. arkyshayradio@gmail.com. All one word, arkyshayradio@gmail.com. Those are the methods that I will use to connect going forward for at least through the college football season. I don't know if I'm going to completely give up on Twitter. It's looking like it, but I just want to know that some of you have connected with me that way. And I like hanging out with you that way. But if you only do Twitter and you don't do the TikTok and Facebook, email me. But Facebook and email are probably the 2 best ways to touch base going forward. And I'll answer any one of you. No big deal to me. I like you guys. That's why we started building up this family. I like talking to you guys, and you can send me whatever you would like. Now, here's the other thing about the reason this podcast is changing to a degree. As of recording of this, we are about 10 days away from the scheduled birth of my second son. That's going to make things some hecticness. I want to maintain some kind of frequency with this podcast, but to be able to do Dimitri and I together on a single podcast, it's going to make things a lot more difficult to do that way with the newborn coming in. I have a 3-year-old now, or almost 3, and I have a newborn coming. So my excitement level is high for the new baby to show up. I'm excited. But we're also just making some changes to the podcast. And frankly, I like making some adjustments to the podcast just to keep it fresh. You know, I don't want you to get stale with the content because I don't get stale with the video game. I mean, remember, it's right here. Got my controller right here for the Xbox. That's what I do with the emulator here on the computer when I got some free time. Honestly, guys, I haven't opened the PS5. I got it in Christmas. Still waiting for the football video game to come out. I guess God of War is on there. I could do something with that, but kind of just got it for the college football video game. You know what I mean? Like that's the game. This is what I love the most about it. So that being said, we're going to see some slight changes in how things look. But never to fear. We're not leaving. We're going to keep doing the podcast. All the past is still there. You can keep watching the little videos, download the old podcasts, tell me what you like, what you don't like, or just send a shout out. But the next time I might be talking to you, I might actually have another baby. I don't know that yet. Kind of shooting for it not to have happened by the time we talk again, which I'm hoping is next week. So that's what I wanted to update you. I wanted to first tell Caleb Williams he can shove it. And 2, tell you guys that I won't be seeing you on Twitter, but you can still email me right there. And you can still Facebook me. I'd love if you added me on Facebook. And 3, we're going to look good. We're going to look good going forward. A little different, but we got something for you. I'm excited. I'm excited about all of this. I can't wait to be knee deep in everything, including a newborn and their diapers. But until then, I want to say that I love you all. I miss you all. I cannot wait till Dimitri and I get to record one of these things together. Who knows? Could be really, really soon. But it's all going to work out, baby. It's all going to work out because we are less than 1 year away from the college football video game being back. And we're already going into week 1 of the regular season with college football this year. And that thing's going to breeze right by. And then, and only then, the true anticipation gets at us. Because so help me if they delay it again. Until then, myself, on behalf of Dimitri Ravanos, reminding you that you should go ahead and save and sim to next week.